Welcome witches to our June reading wrap up. We're going to go quickly over all the books we read, whether they are hit or hexes, what I think of them, whether I would recommend them, and let's get into it. We will quickly go over the stats. I'll put them over the screen and we will talk about them quickly. In the month of June, we read 10 books. We averaged 352 pages per book. We increased our percent of physical TBR read to 72.53%. The average time on my TBR was 15 months. We averaged 3.5 stars. We did buy 8 new books. We spent a total of $167.66. So the average cost per book was $20.96. First one that I read was The Gleanings by Neal Shusterman. This is the last or 3.5 in the Arcasai series. I don't think you have to read it if you like the other ones. This is a collection of short stories following the different size and this size stories. I think it's intriguing, especially if you want to see more from different size point of views and a little bit more of their back history. I do think the last few stories are kind of, to me, the reason for reading this. It adds a little bit more depth to the story. So still really good. Say a hit and up to you. Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan. Ellie Rhodes, a curse breaker who goes to a Scottish island, who goes to a Scottish castle to break a curse. This is Clark, who's an archaeologist. He's doing an archaeological dig. They're both working there. He's trying to get her fired despite his intense attraction to her. They do some intimate stuff for the sake of the curse. It's awkward. They're terrible characters. They are terrible to each other. They are just kind of a little bit terrible to their core. I just think that some of their choices are weird. They're awkward. They're uncomfortable. Their relationship feels unauthentic and just, I think that the storyline had potential. The idea behind it and the rough plot had potential. I don't think it was executed well. So this would be a hex and do not recommend. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. I would say yes, hit. This was a quick, fast, easy read. A good one for people who like haunted house, maybe a little bit of an unreliable narrator or you're not sure if they're reliable or not. I think this was really well done. I have seen some people give some criticisms to it, which I think was fair. Following Charlie and Eve, who get this house that there's one way in, one way out. They rent it to fix it up. It's a little bit more dilapidated than they were aware. However, one night, a man and his family show up and say, "Hey, I used to live here. I'd like to take my family on a tour of it." And Eve, being a people pleaser, says, "Absolutely, come on in." Charlie's not home to say that's a terrible idea. They go and give a tour. The daughter of the family touring hides in the house, and now they can't leave because the more they encourage her to come out, the longer she's going to stay. In that time, Charlie comes home, tells Eve what a terrible idea this was. Then a snowstorm comes and they're trapped there and the world goes crazy. The dad's telling Eve and Charlie, "Have you seen weird things?" He's telling them a story. Eve, being the one who goes to the world is falling apart, thinks that this house is haunted, something's weird. Charlie, being very grounded, chill, can rationalize this into a way, and you have no idea what's going on. Is there something happening? Is it in her head? Are these people crazy? Why are they randomly showing up at a house to tour? Hit. I'm going to talk about these two together, The House in the Cerulean Sea and Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. These are book 1 and book 2 in the Cerulean Sea Chronicles. This is fantastic. The character building is great. Following in the first one, Linus Baker, who is a caseworker for the Department in Charge of Magical Youth, he's signed to go to this house on Marcia's Island because they have the most dangerous magical youth there, and he needs to make sure that Mr. Arthur Parnassus is doing a good job. I don't want to say anything too much because I don't want to give it away. One is following, where you learn more about who Arthur Parnassus is. You're seeing the kids develop more. You're seeing the developments and changes that took effect in the first one on Marcia's Island. More of those characters. This is such a good story about inclusivity, not judging a book by their cover, fighting for everybody's rights, family connection, standing up, just such a heartwarming story. It is fantastic with character building. I think he does a great job in this. You see the development of the kids, which I think he did really good. Specifically Sal, I think really grows and develops in this book, which was really fun to see. They're beautiful, stunning covers, and these are definite hits. Go check them out. The Block Party by Jamie Day. So this woman always throws this block party in their kind of fancy neighborhood. This is dual timeline, so you're in current day, you're going back a year. You are seeing how her life is kind of imploded in the last year. Things are a hot mess. I really love the vibes of this. It's perfect for summer. It's perfect for that block party time of year. There's such a classic suburban life that's going on. Maybe a little bit of like that Desperate Housewives where everything looks so beautiful and glamorous and perfect. And yet behind the scenes, people's lives are a hot mess and the world is imploding. I love the fact that there's story and life happening, and then behind the scenes, there's just chaos everywhere. I just love it. Great vibes. Highly recommend. This is a hit. Real Easy by Maria Rutkoski. This is following Samantha. She is a stripper, top dog stripper at the strip club. And there's a newer stripper named Jolene. Samantha just feels this kind of urge to take her under her wing, help her. One day, Jolene is super high at the strip club. She cannot be. They're not sure if it's by choice or not by choice. So Samantha offers to drive her home. However, on the way, taking Jolene home, Samantha notices somebody's following her. They push her off the road and she wakes up in the back of a truck. And that all happens in the first chapter. This is a kind of slow build and then it just goes. You're on your feet the whole time. I don't think at any point you're like, yes, I know who did it. There's twists, there's turns. You get to see it from multiple strippers' point of views. You get to see it from the detective's point of view. So if you like a detective thing, you get a little bit of that. I think this is really well done. There were a few times in the beginning where her writing was almost like trying too hard to be descriptive. That was annoying me. However, I don't think that followed completely throughout the entire book. So I feel like once the story really got going, it was a little bit of a slow build. It was there. It kind of goes back to that slower build or slower downfall at the end. But I do think this was really well done, and I do think it's worth the read. So hit. I always have to look up how to say this because I have no idea. I know it's musical. I'm not musical, so let's figure out how to say it. Which means, welcome to this pronunciation video. Today we will be focusing on a new word that you might find challenging or intriguing. So let's dive into today's word. Cambiare. Yeah, I stuck with the accents. So this is by Avery Ames. I will say this is a self-published book, so I don't want to speak too poorly of it. I don't want to say don't go read it. So I'm going to say that with that caveat that this to me was too much a duplication of A Court of Thorn and Roses. I also just got done reading the entire Court of Thorn and Roses series, and the first two I liked, the third one started to lose me, and then after that I was done. So also keep that in mind. The main character loves fairies. In A Court of Thorn and Roses, the main character hates fairies. Cool. In this one, she summons the fairy. In A Court of Thorn and Roses, Hamlin just shows up on her own because of her actions. They're both trying to save their family from something. In this, they're both falling in love. They both have similar to the same rules. Now they both have to go and live in this other realm and service the fairy. That sounds dirty, but that's not what I mean. Although, in A Court of Thorn and Roses, she loves to paint. In this, she loves music. A lot of the same stuff. So I did technically DNF this. This was a local indie author. I worked with her father for a very short amount of time, so that's really how I learned about it, and I wanted to do it. So if you're a really big Court of Thorn and Roses, you like a lot of fanfic, this might be something you would be interested. So hit or hex, depending on your taste. The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monika Kim. This is following Jiwon, whose mother has just recently been left by her husband who had an affair. And now her mother is dating a new guy, George. Jiwon and her sister Jihoon do not trust this man. They think he's slimy, he's gross. And her mother has this obsession with eating the eyes of the fish because it's supposed to bring you luck. The sisters think that that's disgusting. They're never going to do it. However, one day Ji-won decides that she will eat the eye, and then she becomes obsessed with eating eyes. Starts dreaming about eating eyes, blue eyes in specific. So this is a horror. She does a fantastic job of doing just the perfect amount of body horror, giving it to you, getting you grossed out, and then taking away at just the right time, that it's not overdone. This is a slow build. The characters are well rounded. She gives some backstory to the mother that really adds some more depth to her mother's story. And those connections, there's definitely the message and the discussion of the over-sexualization of Asian women, most specifically. And I think this was really well executed. I think it was really well done. It was something, and this is a definite hit. I would recommend. How to Avoid a Climate Disaster by Bill Gates. This is the last one. This is nonfiction. It's just talking about the effects of climate change, some of the things and ways that people are working to reduce climate change or have a net positive impact. This is very data driven. It's very informative. It's not really like this is how we're going to do it. It's showing all the intricacies and options that you have for climate control. I did do a review on my shorts, and somebody commented talking about how Bill Gates is like a billionaire and he can fund that, and also about how he contributes because of his stuff to climate change, which is all 100% accurate. Bill Gates actually discusses that a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm not immune to these things. I do contribute. We all kind of have to do our best. So I think that criticism is absolutely valid. I can see how people get really annoyed that Bill Gates wrote that. Bill Gates does talk a lot about the general stuff that he contributes to. He talks out in the beginning how he doesn't want to be specific which companies because he doesn't want to make it look like he's pushing that, but just talking about the failures and the successes of the things that people are doing for climate change. So I think it's informative. I think it's really meant to be a call to action to get you to want to take action, to support it, to understand. So well, it's not a this is how we're going to fix it. I do think it was informative and interesting. So if you're interested in climate change, you're interested in nonfiction, I would say it's worth it, and go check it out. That is all for our June reading wrap up. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Please comment and let me know if you've read any of these, you want to read any of these, what you read in the month of June. I'd love to get book recommendations that way, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, witches.